No. Yeah.
I know.
No,
and we need to
it.
keep doing that, too. That's a good spot.
No, I know what you mean.
It doesn't help that countdown's so big on the screen. It's like,
like, oh, shit, 6, 5, here we go. In the
Mark's
new
trying
office.
to steal my hot mics.
Yeah, hot mics. Oh, there you go. Hey, no, let me finish the thought, though. It was, what was that? Oh, yeah, it's a six-way through the season. That was it. By tomorrow, 27 games is exactly 6.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and then you were like,
funny?
if that was on the SAT, like, multiply 6 home runs by 6. That's 30. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I could do that. It's when the train leaves the station at 12 o'clock. I'm like, oh, dear God. Yeah, but if you tell me if a guy hits this in the month of April, what might he hit in the month of September? I got you.
Right. Yeah. Well, I totally agree with you. Like, could they have made the we didn't get enough advantages being athletes, right? Like, you got extra study hall, you got to choose your classes. Now, could we make the SAT more sports related?
Yes, please. Oh, all right. Any thoughts on the programming? The itinerary?
No, I was going to ask about the song. Like, I mean, should I keep it easy should I keep it easy at first, or should we go like? I was going to go deep undercover, but everybody knows you like Chevelle, and they know that I like the Foo Fighters. I was starting with kind of a nondescript Foo Fighters song, but
No, that's. I think we should do it easy just to set the tone. And then, like, the further we get into this, and if the responses are good, then we'll start digging and getting like. Ugly Kid Joe lyrics or something,
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like some, like Friday, like some rap from Dr. Dre showing our age.
That too. Yeah. No, I mean, it should be totally, maybe, well, I was thinking about that too. Like, should there be qualifiers, should we give them hints like what genre or decade or, I don't know. Marco, what do you think, dude? Mm-hmm.
Century.
In the last 100 years.
Well, here,
we could say, what you could do is you could go, in the 1900s, this song was a top hit.
There you go. Well, say, can What I was going to say about that is if they like, hey, for people that have been listening to this, they know, the genre and the whatever. So we're not. Yeah,
they got a good idea.
Far. Yeah, so that I would start by because we'll do an easier song and say, hey, look, if you're a longtime listener to the Bleacher Blums podcast, they've been doing it 3 years. You know what their favorite bands are. Hint, hint, like that kind of thing. Something like that would be a really easy way to start.
I was going to do the Red because it was my walk-up song, and people will get that one easy.
That's right. That's what I was thinking. I was going to do.
But after that, we could get really obscure.
Yeah, I'd like to, but so good. That was the only real question I had. But the agenda's fine. My What'll Tuttle say, I had a couple things, and one was Mad Bum, so we don't have to save it. We can riff on that.
What'd you say? What was that one?
I was saying that my What'll Tuttle was going to be like Mad Bum, but you already had that in there in the podcast, so I'm fine. I'm fine. We can just add it in.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be a separate thing because I have a thought on that as well. I guess that's my point.
Yeah, and I don't really have a Blum's Blast, to be honest with you, so I may just jump over that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That was exactly my point. You said it much better.
Okay. But you're good with everything else?
Yeah, I thought that was great. I mean, look at you. You're a freaking pro.
The lyric thing, should we force them to the Bleacher Blums? Or should we just all of us? Because, I mean, I'll get a ton of interaction on my Twitter handle. You know what I mean? Like send your guests to go to Twitter and go on at Bleacher Blums and send your guests for lead-off lyrics or whatever it is.
Yeah. I think that's right. Because you're like you said, you get a response all the time.
Well, how about this? We can say you can come to us, but make sure you put your specific answer to @BleacherBlums to get a shout out on the next podcast. Okay. Yeah, because that'll make it easier for you to filter it, because I get inundated during games and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose track of what. Yeah. It's just like sup.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it's great. And you know what? This is honestly like too much, but it's great that you did it is the point. Like this is like we could riff on all of this stuff. So we could skip over some and add some, but I think getting into the
just as an example, like who's hot, who's not. The New York Mets are hot, but I haven't been watching them. And I'm just appreciating the fact they're doing it without Jacob deGrom. And then I was going to
I agree. Yep.
Ohtani threw another freaking shutout and drove in a run, so he single-handedly beat another team. Yep. I don't even know who Taylor Ward is, and he's tearing the shit out of the ball.
Yep.
But the one I wanted to hit on was the Madison Bumgarner and the Reds and Major League Baseball, because I think if we use MLB hitters or not, I think that sets up for next week. We can say, hey,
perfect.
All these numbers suck. We think it's the baseball. We're going to talk about it next week on our podcast,
Yep.
Or stay tuned for an upcoming episode of Bleacher Blums, because we're going to have Meredith Wills on.
Yep. I totally agree. Yep. That's awesome. That's a perfect lead into that. Yep. Awesome. And I haven't been watching. I've actually been finger on the pulse with the Reds for some weird reason, because they are so bad.
Yeah, so go ahead and go off on that. See, I don't know enough. I know the owner or GM or somebody said a bunch of stupid stuff.
He did,
but
that was the
their team
owner.
Is terrible.
Yeah,
the owner,
and he said that when they lost. Yeah, that was the owner, not the GM. And he said that when they where else are they going to go in Cincinnati for their entertainment? Is kind of what he said. So that was before the season, and now they're 3-22. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how that rolls out. I should look at what his name is. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
What are you doing, Mark? Are you taking notes? Okay. How many things do you think you've done in the clubhouse that could never be accepted in a business setting? And we started to just rattle off stupid stuff.
That is fun.
That's why I said clubhouse to boardroom, or clubhouse.
Yeah, that's
somehow we could infuse what if,
Yeah.
Or we should do hypotheticals like, Tuttle, if you had a year, what winter Olympic sport, if you trained for a year, what Olympic sport do you think you could medal in? Stuff like that.
Hey, there's a CrossFit gal. She's one of the top CrossFit gals. She made the Olympic team. She did Olympic lifting, but she made either the luge or the bobsled, like the 2-man bobsled. I think I'd have a shot at that. Not at my age, if there was an age group, but like you said, if you trained all year, it's running and diving in the sled and getting a good driver. I mean, I don't know.
Well, and one of the other ones that we talked about was if you had a year, if you trained for a full year, would you be able to get your tour card on the PGA?
Oh, yeah, no chance, but that's all right.
Isn't that crazy to think about, though?
You might be able to, yeah.
No, come on. If you dedicated 2 hours a day all year, on day 365, you don't think you could go out there and play and win a tour card? Damn, that's how hard that sport is, man.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I will say I did take lessons like you've done with the house guy for a while, and I played golf. I don't know what it was. Was I done with baseball, still trying to find a real job, something like that kind of thing? That little hiatus that I know you were doing the same thing. And I played twice a week for about 6 months. I think I got to a level, right? I was 80, 81, 82.
I was going to say, if you're in the low 80s, yeah.
Yeah. So I got to this, what's your index then? A 7 or an 8 or a 9? That's a pretty low index. It was something decent. And I'm I could actually do this if I worked at it. But I just think we're kidding ourselves because we talk about how hard it is to play baseball and stuff. That last little bit, right, the tip of the spear, it's just got to be, could you get your tour card? You might be able to get on to the senior tour, the local tour.
Well, that might be the next question for us, is because I'm literally a year away from the Champions Tour age of 50.
Yeah.
Like, if I trained for the next year, could I get onto the Champions Tour?
Yeah. I'm 3 years away from the Champions Tour, but I'm above it. No, I'm 3 years above. Like, I'm almost near the 50. No, okay.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, but then you watch the Champions guy. I think Stricker's on the Champions Tour now. It's like, are you going to beat Steve Stricker?
Phil Mickelson's on. I mean, if Phil Mickelson ever comes out of hiding, but I mean, he's bombing, dude.
Yeah. Oh, $40 million of gambling debts. I would like to gamble with that dude. Jeez. They just wrote that in the nuts.
Yeah, he's going to get exposed.
Yeah, he will. Oh, well.
Damn.
All right, so should we lead in and rock and roll?
Yeah, you know what? This is actually a podcast. This isn't just a therapeutic session for myself, Geoff Blum, 14-year Major League veteran and current Astro commentator, and a therapy session with my good buddy out on the West Coast, David Tuttle, who's played for Team USA. Probably, I would imagine. But have we even talked about, are you an all-conference pitcher for Santa Clara? Yes.
Oh, Geoff. Yes, I was. I was the 19... You want to hear this? You're asking me since you never asked me. My resume's bigger.
About it. I just assumed.
So I was the 1991 West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year. And the second, there, toot your own horn. But the reason I bring it up is the second place guy was a guy named Patrick Ahern, right? The Oral Hershiser mimic.
Oh, no way. Seriously?
And then the next year, all those guys, they won the national championship the next year. So Steve Rodriguez, Dan Melendez, Ahern, all those guys won it the next year.
I played in that World Series. How about that?
Phil
Nevin was there, too.
Yep. And so
how does it always come back to Phil Nevin?
I know. Isn't that weird? Like, hey, Phil Nevin. Phil Nevin story. 6 degrees of Phil Nevin. We're going to name the podcast 6 Degrees of Phil Nevin. Fullerton went every year. But what I will say about that is that was a really good team, obviously, that Pepperdine team, even the year before. So that's the toot your own horn piece there, which is they were all kind of freshmen, sophomores the year that I was a junior. And I had the good fortune of going head-to-head with Ahern a few times, and my team squeaked out a win, which gave me the edge for the West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year. Yes, so I was all conference. I was an All-American. All the things that don't matter when you're trying to get to the big leagues ultimately, right? Yeah.
No, that's my boy.
Yeah.
Street cred.
You knew I just wasn't some guy like riding your coattails in here,
Exactly, dude. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's going to sound better. It's going to sound better when we're in a rocking chair. Back in 1991, I faced that Melendez-Rodriguez duo.
Believe it, dude. And that's what's sipping on that Macallan 25, and we'll be like, yep, back in my day.
Yeah. Well, you glossed over your little piece there. That's a World Series where, again, 6 degrees, like the Cal Bears. That was your freshman year, I believe, that you were there, Cal, right? You went to the World Series. That Pepperdine team was loaded with a bunch of pitchers. I want to say Steve Montgomery was kind of their ace, but he would come out of the bullpen. He wasn't a starter. And he would throw like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th innings of games. That team was pretty loaded, that Pepperdine team. And then you mentioned Phil Nevin, the Cal State Fullerton. So, it'd be fun to relive that maybe on a podcast. And like you said, we could probably get all those guys on. You've done that before during COVID. Let's get Nevin and Rodriguez because they're at Baylor together, right? Like, hey.
Ooh, that's actually a really good idea. Yeah. That could be an off-season thing because I do know Stevie Rodriguez really well. I played with him in Ottawa. We were turning double plays, and then obviously I know Phil Nevin really well, but I didn't realize the connection was so tight between all of us. Wow.
Pretty tight. And you know what? That would be a fun, like you said, because that was your College World Series experience. I could just, what do you call it, be the MC there. I was not at the College World Series.
Yeah, just be the traffic cop in that one. Just kind of direct and keep us in the lines because, man, I was 2 in barbecue, but I guarantee you Steve Rodriguez and Phil Nevin have some great stories about some of those games playing against each other, man. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I think I've said it. 1992 College World Series, and I had gotten drafted that year. I was drafted in 91, but that was the summer of whatever.
Yeah, first full season,
My favorite, if we ever get Phil on, remind me to do this, is my favorite Phil Nevin story is the football story, not the baseball story, right? Because Cal State Fullerton had football, and I've told it on here before. That's my favorite story. So, all right. Well, we are the Bleacher Blums, are we not?
We are, and we just chatted up in the bleachers in between pitches. What's on Tap is brought to you by St. Arnold Brewery. We have a new new and exciting segment that we are going to lead off this podcast with. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We've got a couple of...
We encourage you to get after it and believe it.
Believe it.
See, we might be able to save that one. We can probably can that one and use that every episode if we need to.
Yeah, that was semi-decent.
That was good. Yeah, you rolled off the... What? What'd you say?
I said, I don't like it.
Don't like it?
What's it called? It's echoey in
I know.
Blum's office.
I know it sucks.
Oh, in Blum's office. I got you.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but I have these headphones.
Yeah.
No, it sounds terrible in my head too.
Yeah, no, you definitely.
I don't have my setup because the desk is in a different spot, and now I can't.
I knew you were going to say that. Damn it!
I usually have soundproofing up, and if I could have just done the podcast like this, it might have been better.
It would have been way better. It sounds awesome. That's great.
It's crazy how much better it is inside this sound booth I've got.
Yeah. And you look better, too. No,
you barely notice it. Yeah, this would be great for the video, guys.
So I went with earbuds today because I wanted the lettuce to be there. I don't want to have the thing. And then you went the other way. You just did the...
Yeah, but I had there's no place for me to set this up. I'd have to I don't know.
You got to fire your wife from a designer. Yes.
Move your microphone back a little bit.
It's not about me, guys.
No, not you.
Is this better?
The microphone.
Oh, you mean
can
move
you
it?
Move it? Yeah, can you move it? Oh, yeah. No,
this is like that Zoom meeting, like I do the green screen in the background.
That looks really good. Yeah, why do you think?
Closer.
Closer. All right.
No, just because it'll still sound good, but then you'll see more because you're like real like me, how I always do, like real cover.
I'm always close. Yeah. All right. So is this close enough though? If I talk this way?
Yeah, because it's always easier to pull up the levels instead of pull down the level.
Okay. Yeah. I can see
you a lot better in the because it matches.
This is stuff you should have told us yesterday. This is stuff you tell us at the beginning. No. Yeah, I'll do a better job of that. That's great. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notified when we post new videos.